Hello everyone. In this video I will discuss one of the films called Sinkhole, 2021, and never forget that I always pray for you and your family to be happy and healthy always. The film begins with a scene where a man named Dong-won, along with his family, has just moved into a new house. They live in a 5-story building, and it's pouring rain as they are still in the process of moving. Unfortunately, the furniture for their new home cannot be brought inside yet, because the truck carrying their belongings is blocked by a car. Eventually, a man named Mansu arrives, the owner of the car blocking the way. He appears indifferent and moves the car roughly, leading to a heated confrontation between the two. Fortunately, Dong-won's son Soo-chan and wife Young-yi intervened, preventing a fight. Besides them, there are 3 other families in the house, including Mi-young and her son Seong-hun, Mina and her husband, and finally Min-jun, who lives with his mother. Dong-won and his family feel very comfortable in their new home, enjoying a restful night's sleep. The next morning, they discover something unusual in the house when Dong-won's son plays marbles, and they roll on the floor, indicating that the building is tilted.
아이 뭘 그렇게 놀래? 사람 무한하게.
내가 놀라긴 뭘 놀래요? 사장님이세요?
아니, 사장은 아니고 뭐 비슷한 거지. 이제 뭐
아니 혹시 집
뭐.
집이 좀 기울어지지 않았습니까? 바닥이 기울어져서 물건들이 막 이리저리 굴러다닌다가.
아예 구슬 갖고 놀게 생겼어? 그럼 등록해.
지각이야! 지각!
저씨.
Dong-won then goes to work, where he receives congratulations from his colleagues on his new home. When Dong-won informs them of the location, his friends are shocked to hear it. It turns out that Dong-won's house is located near an industrial waste processing zone, and they consider it an unsuitable place to live. Dong-won doesn't want to dwell on the issue and quickly changes the subject of their conversation. During the night at Dong-won's house, he was relaxing with his family, Soo-chan and Young-yi. At that moment, heavy rain fell without them realizing that another anomaly was occurring. As all the residents of the building were sound asleep, cracks began to appear in the house. In the morning, Mansu was surprised to find the cracks and a cracked glass door. When he touched the glass door, it shattered instantly. Outside, Dong-won, who was about to leave for work, saw severe cracks around the building. He immediately consulted with other family members to discuss the issue with their house. During the discussion, Min-jun mentioned that he felt the building was tilted, causing the doors and windows to jam. Mina, unconcerned with the problem, believed that it would decrease the value of their house. Due to these differing opinions, the meeting did not yield any results.
제가 가게 때문에 집에 있는 시간이 많지 않아서요.
괜히 하자 문제 소문나면 집값만 다.
어떻습니까? 괜찮아요?
밑에서 담배 연기가 어찌나 올라오는지.
401호 아저씨 들으셨죠?
우리 집엔 담배 피우는 사람이 없는데. 아니 내가 지금 담배 끊은 지가 10년이 넘었는데 무슨 냄새가.
푸석푸석한 게 꼴초같이 생겼어, 그죠?
맡아봐.
나네.
이제 부창구수네 2차 고생이시네. 아줌마가 너무.
저기 다투지 마세요.
아이고 의심을 하잖아. 내가 의심받는 거 너무너무 싫어하는데.
Mansu then returned home, where he was having a meal with his son, Sung-tae. Although the father-son relationship seemed less harmonious, Mansu genuinely cared for and loved his son. A few days later, Dong-won's co-workers visited his house. Although initially they deemed the house unfit for habitation, they were now impressed with Dong-won's home. There, a beautiful cityscape was displayed. Dong-won and his colleagues then enjoyed a meal and revelry at his house until midnight. 2 of his colleagues left, while the others stayed overnight until the morning. The next morning, 2 co-workers named Seung-hyun and Unju woke up. As they awake, Young-yi and Soo-chan returned from the market. Young-yi met Mina and her husband, and both couples planned to use the public restroom since there was no water in Dong-won's house. Soo-chan ran back to the house to get a trolley to assist his mother in carrying groceries. Seung-hyun hurried to the office as he had a meeting with a client. He took a taxi, but the taxi driver was too engrossed in a phone call with his girlfriend. Meanwhile, Soo-chan, who was fetching the trolley, ran towards his mother, but suddenly his marbles fell and rolled under a car. On Mansu's balcony, he was chatting with a man from the building across. Mansu shared about the water issue in his house that wasn't flowing, and then the horrifying events began to unfold. A seismic-like shake occurred in the building. Severe cracks appeared around the structure, eventually causing the house to start sinking into the ground. A large hole emerged, making the house slide into the hole with a depth of hundreds of meters. This disaster was peculiar, as only one building was swallowed by a giant hole, reaching hundreds of meters deep into the ground. As the building slid into the ground, the taxi carrying Seung Hyun moved uncontrollably back and forth, posing a significant danger and causing panic for Seung Hyun. He was fortunate because if the car couldn't be stopped, both him and the taxi might have slid into a deeper hole in the ground. Dongwon, along with Unju and Mansu, managed to ensure their survival.
괜찮아? 우리 가족들 못 봤어? 누구세요?
내가 봤어. 이 사단이 났으니까 엘리베이터에 타는 거 내가 보고 자기는 못할 거야. 못하래. 형이 이러지 마. 아파.
Meanwhile, on the surface, a large hole was visible, and the rescue team started to arrive. They then devised a plan to rescue the victims trapped in the hole. Some rescue team members were lowered using ropes, but the surrounding walls of the hole collapsed, making it difficult for them to descend. Eventually, they decided to ascend and explore alternative methods. Below, Mansu was in a state of panic, remembering that he was there with his son Sungtae, who hadn't been found yet. Everyone helped Mansu search for Sungtae, and after a considerable effort, they located him. He was locked in a bathroom, explaining that he was using the toilet when the incident occurred. Sungtae then devised a plan for their collective survival. Although Dongwon initially felt frustrated, he remembered that his wife and child were out shopping and were at least spared from being trapped with him in the hole. They all worked together to come up with a plan for their escape from the hole, regardless of the method. The situation worsened as rain began to fall, indicating that the hole would gradually fill with water, risking drowning. The media started to cover the disaster, and an expert concluded that it was merely a foundation collapse. However, the reality was more complex. Dongwon's wife was deeply worried, fearing that her husband below wouldn't have anything to eat, as she hadn't prepared any food before going to the market. Ironically, all the victims below were feasting on mud-cooked grilled chicken, which appeared appetizing.
밑에서는 아무것도 못 먹었을 텐데.
뭡니까 이건?
진흙통 닭구이.
잠깐만. 500g. 자, 먹자.
The rescue team then lowered a drone into the hole to assess the situation below. Unfortunately, due to the depth of the hole, the drone lost signal, veered off course, and eventually crashed right in front of Sungtae. Sungtae, upon seeing this, grabbed the drone. He informed the others and tried to communicate with the rescue team through the drone's camera. However, at that moment, the building slid downward again. Seung Hyun nearly fell due to the incident, but was saved by Unju, who threw a cable at him. The cable was attached to a metal object, and they slowly pulled Seung Hyun up. Unfortunately, as they pulled, the cable snapped, causing Mansu to fall into very thick mud. mud had a viscous texture resembling quicksand. Even Sungtae, attempting to save his father, got pulled into the mud. Dongwon tried to pull both of them with the cable, but the mud's thickness made it challenging. Dongwon then had the idea to break the window on the lower floor, causing the mud to be sucked into the room. Dongwon's idea worked, and Mansu and Sungtae were saved from sinking into the mud. During the night, the rescue team finally regained signals from the fallen drone, allowing them to retrieve it. From the recorded footage on the drone's camera, they were able to identify the individuals below. The 5 people trapped there were Dongwon, Seonghyone, Suntae, Seonghyun, and Unju. Meanwhile, 4 individuals were still missing, including Minjun and his mother, Dongwon's son Suchan, and Miyong's son Seonghun, who had fallen below. Dongwon's wife reported this, expressed uncertainty about whether their son had also fallen, and requested efforts to locate him. At that moment, late into the night, unfortunate news arrived for Dongwon's wife. Authorities had traced the cell phone carried by Suchan, and the results indicated that Suchan was also trapped below. While below, those who were trapped chose to rest, planning to initiate their self-rescue plan the next day. Meanwhile, Dongwon and Mansu decided to relax by having some drinks. Morning arrived, and the rescue team continued to explore ways to save the victims stuck in the hole. According to predictions, heavy rain was expected that night, making the evacuation of the victims more challenging. In short, during the evening, while Dongwon and the others were chatting, they received a delivery of food, drinks, communication devices, and breathing apparatus. Thanks to the communication devices they acquired, they could communicate with the rescue team. Dongwon received a call from his wife, who informed him that their son was also below. Without hesitation, Dongwon entered a deeper part of the hole. As a safety measure, he was tied with a cable and assisted by others. The weather turned rainy, and above ground, the captain of the rescue team decided to take the risk of descending alone for the evacuation. However, simultaneously, a nearby building suddenly fell into the hole, forcing the captain's evacuation plan to be cancelled. The falling structure caused vibrations felt by those trapped below, leading to the cable held by Mansu, used to secure Dongwon, getting loose. As a result, Dongwon narrowly escaped danger as an object fell just behind him. Fortunately, he found his son still trapped under a car. Below, Dongwon also discovered Minjun with his mother. His mother explained that Minjun was severely injured and unconscious. Dongwon also found Seonghun, but unfortunately, his life couldn't be saved. The water level beneath started rising, indicating that the place was about to submerge. Dongwon then invited Minjun's mother to go up, but she refused as she wanted to stay with her son. With reluctance, Dongwon left with his son. They faced numerous obstacles while navigating the challenging terrain to reach the surface, exacerbated by heavy rainfall, making the conditions even more difficult. Eventually, both of them reached the surface safely. Just above them, there was a building that could collapse at any moment. Additionally, the heavy rain caused the hole to start flooding, prompting them to leave immediately. They came up with the idea to find anything that could be used as a float. Mansu discovered a large water tank that had fallen from the building above them. He suggested using the tank as a float to reach the surface. All of them entered the tank except for Mansu, who wanted to close the tank and intended to sacrifice himself.
야, 우리가 타. 형님, 빨리 타세요. 아빠 빨리 타. 아이, 다 타면 이거 누가 달냐? 금방 갈게. 예? 아빠! 아빠 금방 갈게.
Not long after, the walls of the hole began to crack and the water started rising. They managed to float and ascend, but unfortunately the building above them suddenly collapsed. Fortunately, the tank they were using did not have any problems when struck by the falling building. However, a new problem arose as the tank got stuck on a cable. They tried to move the tank until it finally came loose. But a bigger problem occurred when the tank ascended, and a sharp piece of metal pierced it, causing a leak. They resigned themselves to their fate, since they couldn't close the tank lid. Unexpectedly, Mansu came to help. It turned out he was still alive. Before sinking, he he found a breathing apparatus sent by the rescue team. By working together, they managed to overcome this problem. Seong-hyun took the initiative to seal the hole in the tank with his hand so that it could float back to the surface. In the process, Min-soo tried to reach Seong-hyun's hand, but his efforts were in vain. In the end, they all successfully reached the surface, including Min-soo, whose leg was trapped. On the surface, surveillance cameras allowed the rescue team to realize they were safe. Subsequently, they were successfully rescued by the teams on duty. Tears were visible in Young Yi's eyes as her husband and child were safe. However, Dong-won had to deliver the sad news to Seong-hun's mother that her son had passed away and couldn't be brought to the surface. And then the movie concluded. And that's it for the story series of this film. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to support this channel by subscribe, like and share. See you in the next video. Goodbye.